Walking around in Venice can be a challenge, and no wonder. The city gets about 30 million tourists every year.
It's the height of the Spanish summer, peak season for tourists.
Summer is high season for American tourists in Europe, with countless travelers coming to countries like France from June to September every year.
Tourism in Las Vegas is in a big slump this summer, costing the city billions of dollars. Some are saying that could signal trouble ahead for the U.S. economy.
As U.S. airports battle with 3-hour security queues and hotels operate at just 58% capacity, something remarkable is unfolding on the other side of the Atlantic. Navigating through Venice presents its own obstacles, and it's no surprise the city welcomes approximately 30 million visitors annually. We're in the peak of Spain's summer season, prime time for tourist arrivals. Summer marks the busy period for American visitors to Europe, with endless travelers flocking to nations like France between June and September each year. Europe has just broken every tourism milestone on record, and the explanation runs much deeper than affordable airfare or pleasant climate. Imagine this scenario from last Thursday. Amsterdam's Schiphol Airport, 6 o'clock in the morning. The arrivals display resembles a global assembly roster. Flights from Bali, Bangkok, Boston, Beijing. But these aren't departing flights. They're all incoming planes, thousands and thousands of visitors pouring into Europe each hour, generating what travel experts are dubbing the massive European influx of 2025. These figures are truly breathtaking. European destinations hosted 747 million guests in 2024, with the first quarter of 2025 already reaching 300 million arrivals. That equals America's entire population landing in merely 3 months. Hotel bookings in Barcelona hit 94% in August, compelling the city to transform cruise vessels into floating accommodations. Meanwhile, on the other side of the ocean, Times Square lodgings are providing 40% markdowns simply to occupy rooms. Miami Beach properties have turned to those purchased 2 evenings, receive 3 complimentary panic promotions you notice scattered across booking platforms. Here's what's incredible. Stroll through Prague's stone-paved pathways at midnight, and you'll discover organized evening sightseeing excursions created specifically for the surplus of guests who couldn't secure daytime reservations. Restaurant proprietors in the Czech metropolis maintain their cooking facilities open until 2 a.m. on weekends, with certain pubs and nightclubs providing meals until sunrise, not for cleanup, for complete service to handle the tourist surplus. European administrations made the bold decision. While America strengthened visa requirements and extended processing periods to 180 days, they removed them completely. Not decreased, abolished. The fresh European digital travel permit requires 3 minutes to finish and costs €7. Contrast that with America's ESTA framework, now demanding biometric pre-screening meetings that schedule out 4 months ahead. Meanwhile, a transformation was developing in European terminals that nobody anticipated. Frankfurt Airport introduced Project Lightning, a total redesign of international arrivals. No queues, no conventional checkpoints. Instead, travelers move through what resembles an upscale retail center, while hidden biometric scanners manage all security and immigration processing. Average handling time from aircraft to taxi? 12 minutes. At JFK, that identical trip averages 2 hours and 45 minutes. Global travel continues thriving tremendously, and each year following the pandemic, we've witnessed that explosive expansion in tourism, particularly the most sought-after locations. So we're discussing Rome, we're discussing Paris, discussing London, now Tokyo's included. But the additional factor, I believe, is social media's influence. You desire to display where you've traveled, all the experiences you've had, and capture that perfect photograph. Tourism drives the economy in many of these locations. You're witnessing some fascinating developments like Galapagos, which charges a $200 tourist fee that funds the local community, fights pollution, and addresses overcrowding. The remote worker boom reveals another aspect of this narrative. Estonia's e-residency initiative now includes 2.1 million members. Portugal's D8 digital nomad visa request jumped by 847% compared to last year. Before we dive deeper into these incredible statistics, If you're finding this eye-opening, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Your support helps us uncover more stories like this that mainstream media won't tell you. We've got some shocking revelations coming up that you won't want to miss. But here's what official data doesn't show. Complete American technology firms are discreetly moving their remote staff to European headquarters. Not the corporations themselves, just their employees. A senior Google developer speaking anonymously disclosed that roughly 30% of their department now operates from European sites while keeping US job agreements. The companies are aware, they simply don't discuss it. Croatia's evolution feels almost unreal. The Adriatic country received 31 million visitors through August. The nation contains 3.8 million inhabitants. That's 8 tourists per resident. Yet somehow it functions. Dubrovnik implemented these AI-driven crowd control systems that reroute tourist movement instantly, delivering push alerts to visitors' devices, recommending alternate paths when specific zones reach maximum capacity. Sounds dystopian, but it generates this impression of natural discovery while avoiding complete disorder. The European Travel Commission's yearly conference last month was especially revealing. Officials from 33 nations presented their tourism advances. Estonia's digital framework to Greece's 50% tax incentives for remote employees. The American team sent only junior staff members. Industry professionals suggest a different explanation than scheduling issues. They possessed nothing competitive to present. While Orlando's entertainment parks increase prices 15% yearly just to control declining visitor numbers, Europe creates engaging cultural attractions that reserve months ahead. Copenhagen's food scene now accounts for 8.7% of the city's GDP, with dining revenue hitting 2.3 billion euros yearly. Consider that impact. Food services have evolved into one of the city's primary economic engines. Booking platform information reveals Americans reserving European dining experiences 18 months ahead, not for special occasions or celebrations, just ordinary Tuesday meals. The city responded with Copenhagen After Hours, where Michelin-rated chefs provide midnight sampling menus. Every reservation booked through 2026. Nothing open until March 2027. How cultural establishments adjusted is truly remarkable. The Louvre expands operating hours until 9 p.m. on Wednesdays and Fridays, with exclusive evening presentations attracting huge audiences. The Vatican developed holographic experiences for excess crowds to witness detailed Sistine Chapel recreations. Barcelona's Sagrada Familia offers construction participation passes. Visitors pay 200 euros to physically position stones under architectural guidance. Meanwhile, the Metropolitan Museum in New York just removed its pay-what-you-wish option. They couldn't manage to maintain operations. Tourism has remained a fundamental growth pillar. This has been true for decades, but during recent years after the pandemic, there's been a travel explosion, and Spain has truly gained from this. It's among the most frequented nations globally, ranking after France. And currently, tourism contributes nearly 14% of the country's GDP. Individuals are shifting resources. Rather than buying vehicles or purchasing clothing, they are traveling and enjoying themselves. Most tourist increase actually occurs in what we term shoulder periods, just before or following summer vacation. So there's some distribution in how these flows reach Spain. Also geographically more tourism connected to business travel, but also countryside tourism in northern Spain. Consider this infrastructure accomplishment. The Interrail Global Pass links every significant European city, with passes beginning at 212 euros for 4 days of transportation. Miss your train from Paris to Barcelona? Another departs within hours. The adaptability is unmatched. Journey across 33 nations with one pass. Compare that to Amtrak's Boston to DC route. 5 daily trains, regular 4-hour delays, tickets starting at $140 one direction. The contrast is nearly absurd. Social media revolutionized everything in unexpected ways. TikTok travel content featuring Europe surpassed 1 billion views under hashtag Eurosummer 2025. Consider Slovenia's underground kayaking in Postojna. A TikTok clip showcasing this adventure received 2.4 million views, with tourists rushing to explore the country's distinctive underground activities. The nation transformed from secret treasure to essential destination practically overnight. The medical tourism industry perhaps tells the most compelling narrative. European hospitals established wellness hotels, premium medical centers that feel more like luxury retreats than healthcare facilities. An American patient needing knee surgery faces $45,000 in expenses domestically, plus 3-month waiting periods. The identical procedure in Munich, including flights, 2-week recovery in a converted castle medical resort, and supervised rehabilitation excursions through the Bavarian Alps. 12,000 euros total. Insurance providers began quietly approving European medical travel, though they won't acknowledge it openly. Greece's strategy merits particular recognition. The nation converted its financial crisis background into tourist appeal. Deserted structures from the 2008 collapse became street art exhibitions. Previous demonstration locations transformed into cultural hubs sharing resilience stories. The comparison makes you question why we tolerated this situation so long. Even European winters evolved. Scandinavian countries enhanced their winter tourism options, from glass domes for aurora viewing to ice accommodations and winter celebrations honoring polar nights. Finland's Lapland area achieved 82% hotel bookings through December, traditionally their quieter period. Minneapolis in November, hotels at 50% occupancy despite halving rates. The EU's thorough sustainability programs, from Slovenia being named the world's first green destination to Copenhagen's incentives for sustainable practices, seem paradoxical. You'd anticipate tourism to decline. Instead, the reverse occurred. Guests remain longer, spend more, express greater satisfaction. Income per visitor increased significantly in eco-certified locations. Turns out compelling people to decelerate and genuinely explore destinations functions better than rushing between photo opportunities. He's the CEO of the European Travel Commission. Eduardo, there's significant global political and economic activity, so does Europe remain a premier destination for international travelers? Absolutely. It's definitely a highly appealing destination, and as concerns increase naturally, we're observing some behavioral pattern shifts. However, when we examine the core of bookings, the foundation of travel predictions, we detect no significant change for this coming summer. Having mentioned that, we believe this marks the start of a new phase for tourism development. We understand that various economic elements will certainly impact the visitor economy, tourism, and definitely tourism movements from America to Europe, not only from America but from other continents as well. In Vienna's coffee houses, where identical formulas have endured since 1683, tourist numbers have increased, with these locations becoming Instagram destinations for global visitors while preserving their authentic character. The combination of flawlessly maintained history welcoming innovative future shouldn't succeed, but remarkably it does. The confidential notes from last month's European Tourism Council session exposed their real worry. They're depleting physical capacity. Draft plans discuss constructing floating resort cities in the Mediterranean, transforming retired oil platforms into luxury destinations, reshaping deserted quarries into subterranean tourist facilities. They've already started construction on 3 developments. There's one figure that haunts American tourism authorities at night. Europe controls over 50% of worldwide tourism market dominance, with international guest expenditure reaching 573 billion euros. Not simply leading, controlling. With travelers not even exploring alternatives, the US fell to 6th position behind Southeast Asia and, surprisingly, Antarctica. Examining these statistics, this momentum, the enormous scale of what Europe has constructed while others delayed, they might be justified in their concerns. The opportunity to recover isn't merely narrowing. For most destinations, it may have already closed.